morning, Professor Allinson. Thank you for your time today. If we could start just taking a look at how you first became involved with ISDI.
Okay, so I'm Nigel Allinson. I'm Distinguished Professor of Image Engineering at the University of Lincoln. I've been here, I think, about 11 years. Prior to that, I passed through quite a number of universities, and I suppose my involvement with the very foundations of ISDI began when Thalys was first a research student of mine at UMIST in Manchester, and then later at Sheffield, and then his involvement on a big grant called MI3 Plus, which was multi-dimensional integrated intelligent imaging, if I remember right. So we just called it MI3. And it was from that grant and a subsequent grant called MI3 Plus that we really set about the foundation of ISDI as we know it today.
Could you tell me a bit more about the MI3 project and ISDI's involvement in it?
Okay, so MI3 was a large grant, in fact, about one of the largest ones ever awarded, for a big program called Basic Technologies. And this program was, as I suppose the name suggests, was develop technologies which underpinned science and engineering. And we had 3 attempts to get this proposal. The first time it was put in by colleagues at SDFC, and it was considered to be rather dry and boring. And then I said for the next year I'd have a go, and I went way over the top, and the panel said this is just fantasy. So I said I'll have one last go. So I had one last go, and we got the grant. So it was over £4 million, which, as I said, was one of the largest, and was certainly the largest in the number of partners we had together. So the basic idea was to explore CMOS images for science, medicine, and security applications. And part of the scheme that I put together was that 3 postdoctoral research assistants at 3 separate universities would work with SDFC, who were the people who had the knowledge of how to make CMOS sensors. And one of those people from my side was Thalys himself. So this program took off, and we made quite a lot of progress. We discovered lots of things. We explored all sorts of different areas. The area I was involved in was X-ray imaging, because my background before that was developing sensors for crystallography. So the project came to an end, and then the research councils decided there should be a follow-on for the best bits. So we're invited to apply for that. And the group of end users that were most involved and interested and excited were the medical physicists. And there was a grand challenge at that time issued by the research councils to build wafer-scale CMOS images. So we thought we'd have a go at that. So this was rather modestly called MI3 Plus. And this was to make a wafer-scale imager for medical purposes. And SDFC, we're going to do the design work, etc. And then it didn't work out. We went through 17 variations of the consortium agreement and got nowhere. So I threw them out. And Thalys and I decided, well, we'll have a go ourselves. And because the big silicon foundries didn't like working with academics because they were just a waste of time, but they didn't mind working with companies who really had no capital behind them. And they thought that was fine. So that's how ISDI started. So we built Dynamite, which I can't remember exactly what it stood for now, but I do remember when you do your customs declaration, do not write dynamite on the customs declaration because they tend to get open. So we built about a 13 centimeter square sensor, CMOS sensor. It contained every novel idea we could put into it. There were two sizes of pixels. They could be read out separately. They could be read out together. And we showed that it worked. It was radiation hard. And at the time, and probably still is, the largest monolithic CMOS imager, radiation hard imager that's ever been made. And from that, and the interest that was then taken in Thallas's work and the embryotic ISDI, that's really how it got going.